These images released by Ukraine's Army Operational Command showing firefighters battling a blaze on an unidentified boat in Odessa. Video SABC News is not able to independently authenticate, with Ukrainian officials immediately pointing to it as proof that Russia could not be trusted to implement the grain agreement. But the Kremlin disagrees.
Look, the strikes are connected exclusively with military infrastructure. They are in no way related to the infrastructure that will be used to fulfill the agreement on grain exports. So, in no way can this affect, nor will it affect, the start of shipments. Obviously, a lot of work has to be done. The Russian side has done a lot of work. However, let's wait for the mechanisms created in accordance with the agreement to start working before assessing their effectiveness.
In a statement, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres unequivocally condemned the strike in Odessa, adding that all the parties had made clear commitments on the global stage to ensure the safe movement of Ukrainian grain and related products to global markets. These products are desperately needed, he continued, to address the global food crisis and ease the suffering of millions of people in need around the globe, as he again called on the Russian Federation, Ukraine and Turkey to ensure its full implementation. This as Ukraine expressed hope that the resumption of grain exports would begin from their Black Sea ports this week.
We expect the first shipment to be completed this week. The port of Chernomorsk will be the first one, then Odessa, then Port Pivdeny. Overall, in 2 weeks, we will be technically ready to export out all of the terminals of the above-mentioned ports. It was fundamental for us to control everything in the Ukrainian territorial waters and ports.
Ukraine's president says his country has about $10 billion worth of grain ready for world markets.
There is a chance to reduce the severity of the food crisis provoked by Russia. There is a chance to prevent a global catastrophe, a famine that could lead to political chaos in many countries of the world, in particular countries that help us. And thirdly, this is another illustration that Ukraine is able to withstand this war. It is important that everything in the territorial waters of Ukraine will be controlled by our state.
Western nations have indicated they will closely monitor the implementation of the deal.
The G7 is working closely with partners like Turkey and others to ensure that we can get that grain out of Ukraine and to places around the world where it's needed without putting at risk Ukraine's sovereignty and protection. That's what we'll be watching very, very closely to make sure that this does not put Ukraine further at risk of being further invaded and attacked by Russia. Russia is responsible for this global food crisis because of the wrong-headed decision they took to invade a peaceful neighbor. We are now working very hard to solve it, and I hope for the sake of the global south and everyone around the world, we're able to solve it.
A deal in hand, but a work in progress in terms of its implementation. Shervin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.